You need good teachers in the classroom. They're going to impact the kids. But who's going to hire the good teachers? Who's going to make sure we have good teachers in the classroom? Who's going to inspire those kids on the football field? Who's going to give them discipline that carries over to the high school? I said, leadership matters. And I talk about how Muleshoe was 0-something for many years. And then David Wood came, and all of a sudden, we're winning district championships. There's a direct correlation. And leadership does matter. When I was coming to Muleshoe, I applied, and before I applied, my family called and said, you ought to apply and come to Muleshoe. I was in Hamilton. Hamilton's a beautiful place. I said, why would I leave Hamilton? I remember Muleshoe, they're not winning anything. You hear about the discipline in the classroom, you hear about the school. I'm not going to Muleshoe. And a good friend of mine said, they've hired this young coach. And believe it or not, they've turned the discipline around. Not only the winning football, but the discipline is good in the high school. You got to come check it out at least. And sure enough, that was the story. And it's been a great ride for me, and mainly because of people like David Wood and David Jenkins and those who led the high school, Steve Myatt, people who have instilled discipline in the classroom. The leadership matters, and David has made an impact not only on the football team, but on the school and the whole community. And I was grateful that I was here when you were here. Thank you very much.
Everybody's talking about how much he remembers losing. For us younger folks, I just want to say I grew up known as winning. We expected to win, we would win. Thank you for bringing that first up.
I want to tell you a little story that has absolutely nothing to do with this, but Richard and Sherry Hawkins, Karen and I traveled together a lot when we went to football games and stuff, and I guess it does have to do with tradition. And there was a whole lot of tradition started after the Woods came to see us. We were over in Littlefield at a football game, and the game was over and we had won, and we went to McDonald's to get a drink and whatever. And Richard and I were up there at the soda fountain filling up our drink, and one of the other Muleshoe residents walked up and said, "Can you give me a hoorah?" I said, "Well, of course we can." So Richard and I turned around, and we got probably half of McDonald's was from Muleshoe, half was from Littlefield, and we got everybody in there to give us a hoorah, even the people from Littlefield. And the day this fight broke out that you cannot imagine, and so Richard and Sherry and I just kind of slipped out the front door. But like I say, there's been a lot of tradition started in this community on behalf of the city of Muleshoe, the city council, and all the people that live in this community. A big thank you for all that tradition and all the hard work and everything that you have done for us. Now, with that said, can you give me a hoorah?
Hoorah! 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 Hoorah!
Curtis, there's several of us on the here today who were on the board when Coach Wood was hired, and I don't know, I do know how they feel about it too, but if I had to say in my 18 years on the board, on one hand, if I could count the things I'm proudest of, I'm not sure. I know they'd be in the top 5, and I think they might be very number 1 on all those things, because what a difference it made. Sam was telling the truth. Not only did we know at the time when you guys came, we knew we would not win. We knew we were going to win. I just hope nobody get hurt bad. And that's how bad it was. And so when you guys came on, all of a sudden the priorities changed. Yeah, we wanted to win, but we also knew that we were going to win the right way. It was going to be done with character. And you endured some tough times to make that happen. One of them was was in the Shelburne household. We had 4 sons, and I'm very proud of 12 straight years on varsity. And I think all district was the worst the Shelburne Clan ever did. I mean, you know, thank you, but there was a time there were pretty normal boys, and I'm going to tell this in a way that does not indicate which one it was, who has been coaching and stuff. I mean, no, I wouldn't say that, but one of the kids got into some trouble. I was off trying to get a church youth thing going, so I was off doing God's work somewhere, you know. And that was when he chose to get into the worst scrape he probably ever got into during his high school year, a career. And the boy in question said in a moment of weakness, Coach Wood won't find out. And we said, yeah, he will, because you're going to tell him. And Wanda can tell the story. I can't tell it because I wasn't here. But Wanda can tell the story about Coach Wood coming over to the house that night. You know, the son, whose name I almost said, called, and I'm very proud of it. He's turned into an okay guy. He got out of prison several years ago. The son called and said, could you come over here and talk? And they sat on the couch and they did the deal. And we knew, I don't know how many thousand hard yards it was. But, you know, the punishment was fair, and once it's done, it's done. And all of us whose sons have played for Coach Wood, whose kids have played in any sport, know that that's it. It's fair. And we know the good guy, you're going to win with Coach Wood. You're going to win the right way. And you're going to feel good about it because you know it was done the right way. And we're so thankful for that. Thank you.
We had some of the best times as a family, just experiencing that with them. And, you know, the boys and the girls and everybody that was involved in sports were all elevated by being in a winning program. And people had confidence that they could win, and they just really felt inspired to do better in band or in fine arts, whatever, because of what this family's done for the school system and for Muleshoe. And, you know, as far as we're concerned, we can't say any higher appreciation for what the impact they've had, not only on my family, but every one of our families.
Yeah, I'll say something. Back in 1999, I went to Childress, and we were there for a couple of years, and we started looking for places to go. And my kids were David's kids' ages, and we thought, man, would that be neat to be able to have our kids grow up in the same place that David's kids are growing up. Of course, the program has just started growing and started winning a little bit. We started thinking that maybe there's a chance. So I applied and visited with Mr. Sheets, and lo and behold, things worked out and came to Muleshoe. That was the best 8 years of my life, because my kids were able to grow up with their kids and enjoy success, enjoy discipline, not be afraid of being treated differently, because y'all know my boy, he was treated fairly. I wasn't expecting anything different. As we look back through the years and the way they were able to grow up and be best friends, the girls were best friends, the boys were best friends, and to this day they're still best friends. And I thank Mr. Sheets for the opportunity to be able to come to Muleshoe at the time, and I think David and Jody to be part of that too. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, we started the hoo-ha thing, or the cheerleaders did anyway. And anyway, they moved there when they were freshmen, and you talk about being 0-10. That's what we were then too. But their junior year, we were tri-champions of the district, and they got Quanah started on a good path as well through their dad and through their work as well. And speaking of, David tells this story. Jody was a tennis player, of course, came over to Quanah, And David and I were riding around. We were really good friends, and he said, "Look at her." I said, "Yeah, look at her." I said, "I bet you $1 you won't go over and talk to her." Well, he did. So all I got to say is somebody around here owes me $1.
The time we hired him as David. I came in June the year before he came the following April. So we've been here pretty much the same time, and I knew we were going to get a new coach. And we've just been horrible all the years, and I think I was talking to Bruce Berry, and he told me who one of the 2 finalists was this guy from Canyon. So the athletic director up there at that time was Mike Wardis. Mike Wardis was a coach here back before that Mud Bowl, was the last one to win a district championship here as coach. So I called him up one day, and I said, "Hey, I've heard you give this guy, a good recommendation for the job." And I said, "You just tell me about it." And I said, "I want the truth. I don't want you sugarcoated or anything." And he said, "Sam, I'm going to tell you the truth just like I would back when you were playing for me." And he said, "If anybody can turn this program around, this young man can." And I believe if you look at all these trophies and these cases, we made the perfect choice, and he did just what Coach Wardis said he would do. Thank you.
22 years ago, I took a trip up here by myself, Jody Wood. I was young and ambitious and wanted to have a job. I'd been looking for it for about 2-3 years. The previous year, I took the time off. I didn't look for any head jobs that year. But we got through a stage of our life that I could start looking for a head job again. And Mike Wardis, Alan Cornelius, both those guys had a tenure here in Muleshoe back the last time they won. And they knew I was looking. They knew it's hard to get your first head job. And Mike, I asked Mike about Muleshoe. He says, "Muleshoe's it open?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I used to work there and coach there." Of course, Mike, he was a pretty energetic young coach. I mean, I was ready to go through the brick wall for him just to me telling him tell me about Muleshoe. He was one of those guys that could fire you up. But he said, "I can help you with that job." I said, "How can you help me?" He says, "I know a couple of guys there still in Muleshoe." I said, "Well, give those 2 guys a call. You never know." He said, "I think I can get you an interview." So I came and interviewed. I was by myself. We're in Amarillo, and we got a young family. All 4 of our kids are with us. And I told Jody, I said, "I'm going to take a trip down to Muleshoe." And she said, "Where is that?" I said, "I don't know." I arrived in Muleshoe, I had my interview, I came back, and I got home, and I said, she asked me how to interview, and I said, "It went pretty well, I think, but, she said, "Well, is it a big place?" I said, "Well, it's got a McDonald's." And that sold her. If we were offered the job, we were going to come because we had 4 little kids. And that's really all I can say about it until I brought her back the second time. One thing I can say about Muleshoe was the type of people here in Muleshoe. I said that everyone I talked to, they're hungry, they know what they want, they haven't won, but they're great people. And that's what we want to raise our family in. It's a town that just loves kids and has a vision. So that's what we did. We were offered a job. There was another job I was interviewing for, and I hadn't had an offer by that other school yet. So I called my dad and said, Dad, I was offered a job at Muleshoe. Of course, coaches know reputations around the state, and he knew Muleshoe's reputation. He said, David, that could be a dead-end job for you. I said, it could be. He said, well, a bird's in the hand with two in the bush. Don't wait around for the other one. If you want that job, go get it. And we haven't looked back. We've loved every second of it here. Great place. Coaches usually can't call a town their home. They're not there long enough to call a place their home. They move around a lot. But we can honestly say Muleshoe is our home. And thank you all very, very much for having us for 23 years. Thank you very much.